My name is Garrett Knopf, and I'm a speech-language pathology student at Grand Valley State University. I've spent many summers volunteering at summer camps, and more recently I've worked at PJ Hoffmaster State Park during the summer. But in the summer of 2017, I left the country for the first time. On June 21st, 2017, I landed in Dublin Airport in the Republic of Ireland, where I would spend the next 2 months of my summer interning at the Canal Communities Training Program. TURIS, or simply TURIS. I'll come back to that in a moment. So you've probably heard a thing or six about Ireland here and there. Yes, it is every bit as beautiful as you've heard and then some. No, not everyone has red hair. Yes, they speak English, or at least, I think they do. That's what they say, but sometimes I wonder. No, there isn't an Irish accent. There are heaps of Irish accents. Yes, they drive on the wrong side of the road, and they have their steering wheels on the wrong side of the car. No, there aren't any leprechauns running around. Well, according to one of our tour guides, the secret to finding the leprechauns is Guinness. But apparently, 2 shops of the black stuff isn't enough to find the leprechauns. And yes, the rumors are true, it rains a lot. So, stereotypes aside, Ireland is absolutely gorgeous, both in its scenery and in the character of the Irish people. There's an Irish saying that goes, Céad Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes. I certainly felt very welcome when I arrived in Ireland, and I felt even more welcome when I came in for my first day interning at TURIS. So, what is TURIS? My mission was to answer that question both for myself and to be able to answer it for others who may not know. The short answer is that it's the Irish Gaelic word for journey. A different short answer would be that it's a drug rehabilitation center in Dublin, though clearly that doesn't say very much about what I did. My unofficial position was a support worker, so my job was to assist the tutors and other permanent staff at TURIS in their day-to-day operations. Notice that I don't point to anything specific, and that's for a good reason. As my supervisor Anthony said to me before I started,
a typical day in TURIS is that there isn't a typical day in TURIS.
But he added to that,
the one thing we always try to achieve is to make the students stay better with us than if they choose to do something else.
The email reference there was one of the best early indications of what my experience at TURIS would be like. The way I understand it, TURIS exists to help the victims of addiction, but it's much more than just that. I asked some of the staff about how they view TURIS.
So we're a rehabilitation program, so we provide rehabilitative education and training for people who are in recovery from substance misuse. Typically our service users would be early school leavers, not in all cases though, people who have had some substance misuse issues in their lives. Some of them might be very recent, others might have been a few years ago that drugs affected their lives. And we provide employability and rehabilitation skills.
I would think that TURIS as an organisation, we give the participants a safe place to go. Some people that would come here would be homeless and living in hostels, so to be in that environment all day, every day without somewhere to go for even just a chat for half an hour, a hot dinner, cup of tea, it's a safe place overall for people to go.
On a large scale, I would say TURIS builds confidence and re-educates and helps their participants find the strength to recover from addiction and to progress onto further education or employment within the community.
On a larger scale, I suppose we're a societal response to addiction. We're a message to those people who come from marginalised communities that are even marginalised within those communities due to their addiction. I suppose we're the message that somebody still cares, there's a chance, there's a hope.
The explanations by staff members helped me to better understand TURIS, but I wasn't only interested in hearing from staff members. I was also interested to hear from the participants at TURIS, being a source of some of the most honest and authentic answers to be found anywhere in the center. In the process of getting these interviews, it's worth mentioning that not everything went according to plan, and some moments weren't quite as magical as others. As I was arranging these interviews with staff and students, I had quite a time trying to work around the timetable, and doing so while adhering to Irish cultural norms. You may have heard the term Irish time, referring to starting roughly 15 minutes after a specified time. I really didn't notice many instances of people operating on Irish time, per se, but what I did notice was that the attitudes around timeliness getting in and out of work are the reverse of those in America. Where in America we are very particular about getting in on time, and by on time I mean early, and not quite so much about getting out on time. The opposite is true in Ireland. You drift in on time by all means, but you may stop for a cup of tea before getting roped into anything serious. And when it comes time to go home, they are gone. There's no holding an Irishman back from getting home on time. Beyond that, breaks are sacred. You do not interrupt a man on his 15 minutes break, nor do you eat into somebody's lunch break. As a result, I wasn't able to get as many interviews as I had originally planned for, but that said, I was very appreciative of the 7 people who took time out of their busy days to meet with me for the sake of this video.
It does, I suppose, 2 different things. It gives me a safe environment to come to. It gives me structure and a daily routine in my life.
For me, it helped me a lot because when I came here a year ago, I was in not a very good fit state, deep in depression, very bad using drugs like cannabis and just not wanting to do anything, no motivation, no nothing. And then when I came here, the more you get used to it, the more help they give you, the more understanding they are, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for me, it's done a lot for me.
As previously mentioned, Turas is the Irish Gaelic word for journey. This idea of being on a journey is at the foundation of everything Turas does for its participants. Needless to say, I was on the journey of my life to date. Here I was, a 21-year-old American college student, further away from home than I've ever been, volunteering in a field where I had no prior experience. But, as it happened, my journey intersected with those of the participants at Turas.
Within life, we're all on a journey. The participants at Turas are on a rocky road journey, you could say, because they have a history of addiction, and that led to probably being stigmatised within the community, which reduces their employment prospects, their progression prospects, and Turas gives them the opportunity to rebuild themselves and to make them or help them feel more accepted within the community and build their own self-confidence.
The participants gave varying degrees of specificity when describing their personal journeys, but even so, there were common threads in each of their answers. There was a running theme of having an accomplishment to their name.
To accomplish something, to accomplish some sort of goal. What that is at the minute, I'm not really sure, but I'd like to achieve something at the end of it.
I'm on a journey, say, around the addiction, where when I first started up here, I was a very bad chronic alcoholic. So I've come a long way from 3 years ago, where I am now. But it's been a big journey, because I've had ups and downs, and along the way I've had pretty bad scares in life around the alcohol problem. So where I am now, I'm a lot better than I have been, and I'm hoping to improve it more and more.
At the start, it was a rocky journey. I won't lie about that, because I was all over the place at the time. But now I'm at the stable in myself, and I'm really looking forward to starting college in September.
In addition to the idea of being on a journey, Turas has 4 pillars that serve as the foundation for everything it does. Those 4 pillars are education and training, rehabilitation, holistics, and outdoor education.
Well, they are the 4 pillars that Turas is basically based on, built on. And each pillar is as important as the next, because at Turas we look at the individual as a whole person, every aspect of their life. And in order to rebuild the person, or the person's confidence and whatever, we must look at the four pillars.
We would explain to students when they begin that there's 4 pillars in Turas. So pillar 1 is the education and training, which is funded and supported by the HSE and the DSP. We have outside facilitators who come in and teach that. And the reason why that's important is some of our clients here would be illiterate, may not have writing skills, and through communications in English and maths, it will bring them back to where they may have all left school at junior cert level, if not before that. So it gets them up to their leaving cert level. Highly important if people want to go on to further education or employment, that they at least have the basic foundations.
So we are first and foremost a rehabilitation programme. And rehabilitation is not something really that floats out there on its own. It's rehabilitation through one-to-one, through counselling, through group work, through education, through community, through involvement and engagement. So, but it helps us to focus, and it helps us, you know, it's a bit of an administrative approach, but at least it keeps us on track where we always have our rehab stuff, our key working, our one-to-ones, our assessments, our care plans, all very important.
Holistics is very important because a lot of our participants or students would have a lot of stress from addiction, you know, anxiety, a lot would have things to happen in their past that, you know, has caused them to go into addiction. And with the holistics, it actually shows them how they can relax, meditate without using substances, basically.
Outdoor education, which is my own area of expertise. Outdoor education is, I suppose, it's a sweet spot between a couple of elements. It's experiential learning, so that's hands-on based learning. It's taking place within a natural environment. We know all the evidence and research which supports the positive benefits of being in natural environments, and physical activity. So it's the cross, where those three elements cross. Outdoor education is that little spot in the middle. Why that's important as a pillar in a rehabilitation program. I suppose many of our clients come from inner city areas where there is a distinct lack of natural amenities, and so it's about removing people from those often quite chaotic environments to physically move out of the city. It again allows people to reduce the stress levels, to gain a bit of perspective on their lives.
My favorite question that I asked was for them to try to describe tourists in one word or phrase. Everyone I asked gave it a lot of thought, and I was happy to find that each of them gave a different answer. Each word used to try and encapsulate the essence of tourist had a way of both keying into a specific element of what tourist is, but also applying to the larger goal of the center.
It's empowering. Amazing. Amazing facility with amazing people in it. I think they have a lot of time and dedication for the people that they work with, you know what I mean? It's not coming in to just do their job, sitting on the computer all day. That's that go home, do you know what I mean? They interact with us, they help us, they do as much as they can for us. So, yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I could say excellent. Yeah. As you say, the journey, it is going to be a journey if you're willing to change it. So, yeah, excellent and enjoyable.
Clean and fun.
Alright.
Clean and fun. Clean being the stepping stones element of it, and the fun being just the daily banter and laugh and fun that you have.
One word or phrase. Is it cliche if I say fantastic?
Cliches are welcome.
We are like, not a family so to speak, but we're like a team, and that's including the students who come here and the staff.
This is the tough
There's a
one.
skill in that. One word or phrase. Community. You know, and the wider context of what we do as a society by offering these places, and then in the smaller context of each of the groups are a community in themselves. You know, the people who have come together with a common purpose. So I think that probably fits best.
Empowering. I feel it empowers people. It gives people, well, one word or phrase,
Yeah.
it empowers, gives them the power to carry on with their lives.
I think it would do it a disservice to try and encapsulate such a complex entity in one, but if I was to make a stab at it, I might say hopefulness.
I first came to Ireland knowing very little about it and next to nothing about Turris, aside from knowing that I'd be working there for the next 2 months. But what I learned and what I experienced there far surpassed any expectations that I walked in with. Not only does Turris help people to recover from the damages of addiction, Turris helps to better their life, as one participant put it, and the dedication that the participants and the staff pour into that goal was remarkable. I was honored to have been part of this work for a short time, and I know that I will take any opportunity to return.